Hi there. I'm going to start with the introduction to my final project in abnormal psychology. And let's see, Professor Becker's class. I did it on a short film on a true story in it's called Murder to Mercy, and the client's name is Cyntoia Brown. The Cyntoia Brown story, you might have heard about her. It really hit national news. It was really a big deal. And you wonder why this became such a big, um, national, and, everyone, the celebrities got involved and to help this girl out, because, I mean, there were so many young adolescents in prison that committed these heinous crimes, but she um, gained all this attention. But so it is what it is. That's what happened. She really, um, and so I'm doing a clinical diagnosis on the character, and she is the character. And so my client is a 16-year-old juvenile, biracial, um, from Tennessee. And what happened was she was convicted of murder back in 2004. Um, she was a sex trafficking individual, and the guy that she was with, um, nowadays you would call him like a pimp, someone that uses and lures young ladies or adolescents, even younger than her, into becoming prostitutes. Okay, that's the only way I could put it. Um, so she was soliciting this particular day. She was with this older man in his house. Um, so it was the transaction from um, offering her money for sex, basically, and it turned into violence. And what happened was she feared for her life, supposedly. We'll never know what really happened on that fateful day because we weren't there. All we know is that there was a murder that was committed, and she shot this man in the head, and he died from those injuries. And she was convicted of that crime. So going forward, that's my introduction. She is from had some demographics about it, about her. Her mother was a drug addict. Prior, she drank alcohol through her whole pregnancy, did heavy duty drugs, crack cocaine, meth, and then she gave up her Toya for adoption at 2 years old. So she was adopted at 2 years old, give it up, and there was a new father, and that was mentioned in this whole story. So whatever. It could have been a rape child. She could have been conceived through a rape, and because I do know the mother mentioned she was raped several times, um, in her years growing up as well. And she also gave birth to Cyntoia at 16 years old. So just a little introduction there. Now, when it comes to the diagnosis in the DSM-5, I have several disorders that I would match Cyntoia to for her diagnosis, and then the DSM-5 and how it correlates the criteria for her symptoms. And one of the, by looking at that film, I was able to pinpoint all the disorders here according to the criteria. She matched several of these, and one would be, one of the major depressive disorders that I would start there, and there's several of them that she exhibited with her diagnoses. Social anxiety disorder, I would definitely diagnosed Cyntoia as having social anxiety, fear of social situations. Okay, she was exposed to possible scrutiny by others and social interactions because she didn't feel loved, and so her social interactions were always, she was exposed to such violence and trauma, and so she was very fearful of those observations, panic disorders. She didn't really, when I looked here in the DSM-5 for the panic disorders, I was thinking maybe she did meet the criteria for that, but she really, by when I looked at the film and she was evaluated by these, for the psychologists, never was mentioned about her matching any of the criteria of the panic disorders, like palpitations, sweating, sensations of chest pain. She didn't really exhibit any of those, so I would rule out the panic disorders. But then I would alcohol played a big part in the diagnosis because there was some brain damage due to the mother drinking during pregnancy. So she definitely would classify the criteria as alcohol. Would be fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, which they really specify the condition that Cyntoia, was exposed to that substance, and that's really a big part of the the brain being having trauma and the cognitive. She's experienced a lot of cognitive and intellectual, inability to just function because of that, because of the alcohol poison to the brain as a fetal. I also, there was a lot of substance abuse, cocaine, there was, she was also diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So those are, the major depression disorders, the social, and the fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, with and the cognitive due to the alcohol. Those are my DSM-5 diagnoses related to her characteristics and symptoms. The etiology, I would discuss possible origins of the disorder using the neuropsychosocial approach. So the etiology would be, where did it come from? When you think of the family dynamics, she was exposed to such trauma. Okay, it does. If you look in chapter 16 in the textbook, it does go into the etiology of trauma and the disorders. It would really narrow it down to externalizing disorders. And the text, it just breaks it down to the environment is a big factor in these disorders, and the biological is the biggest part of the environment, as she was exposed to all these the trauma is the biggest one, and the biological plays a big factor in that. Treatment, I think she would benefit from living in a residential home. A residential home provides it's a 24-hour like a program. It's a home-like environment where maybe there'd be less than 5 people living in a home, and she would have her own room, so to speak. It's not a bedroom, but it's her own room, and it's in a house setting, and it's managed by say for instance a ServiceNet or CSO or a program, run through like the state Department of Mental Health. They stay there long term. There isn't like a move out date. It's not a shelter. So I mean, they would provide services for Cyntoia, for outreach programs, there's job skills, to build social skills and networking, and to be um, involved in the community. There's a lot of assistance with emotional regulations, there's therapists and there's clinicians, and she's got a respite place that she can go if she feels overwhelmed. And so she can start off there after being discharged, released out of prison. That would be, my stance would be that would be a good treatment for her. And then, and see if she can be evaluated, and maybe, if some of the symptoms can't be regulated by, as I mentioned, seeing a therapist or having a job that's, fitting for her skills. And like I mentioned, she's got a lot of opportunities to, be part of the community again and just start over, so to speak, because she's missed so many years from being in the, in society. She's been in prison and confined, and she's been missing out on, being involved in all these different things that could just make, help her with, regaining the confidence and the trust in people, in herself, and so that would be my suggestion for treatment. Which we expect the client to respond well to the recommended therapy. Yes, I would, because throughout all the years that she was spent in prison, she has transformed, into this totally different person. She doesn't have the ambivalence towards her family. Is softer. She's accepting. She's realizing there's consequences for her actions. When that fateful incident happened 20 years ago, she realizes, she finished, she got a high school diploma in prison, GED, that's the general equivalent to a diploma. She got that. She even got her bachelor's degree with the GPA, a 4.0 GPA, which is amazing. And so she stayed focused, and she even got married in prison. Yeah. So I do think that she's responding well, and she will respond well to the recommended treatment going forward. So yeah, I will go ahead and write a paper on what I just mentioned, and there's some other I would add in some of the headlines from, not headlines, but certain excerpts from chapter 16 on the disorders, just in my the formatting paper. But I just wanted to do a quick video on who I'm doing the clinical diagnosis on, and just to give you an idea on what I think about what I saw and what I suggested. I'm not a clinician or a therapist, but I saw the video and I thought it was very, very interesting. I'm sad to see a 16-year-old being, going to jail for that many years, 20 years or so. It just was heartless to see that. But it happened. It's a true story, and I hope that you do watch it, and hopefully you could, come up with your own clinical diagnoses, as well, because it's a good one to make your own, stance on it, and figure out the treatment plan and what would you suggest and what do you see, and that, you know, someone else didn't see. But, you know, she really had a great, her adopted mom, she was adopted at 2 years old. Her adopted mom played a huge role in her um, being who she is now, which is, you know, what transformed, like I said, she's a totally different person, you know, well-mannered. She's just changed person, and her adopted mom stayed in touch with her, visited her, kept in touch with her. I mean, her biological mom, you know, she changed her life over as well. I mean, she was a drug addict and alcoholic, and you know, she had in the first time she saw Cyntoia was with her adopted mom at a, you know, like the first week or two after she got arrested. I mean, the mom had met with the clinician, and I guess one of the, you know, other psychologists, they were talking amongst themselves in the room about Cyntoia, about what happened. And, you know, the biological mom, you can tell that she had turned her life over to as well, even though it, you know, was, as far as them bonding, it just didn't happen like that. But at least the mom was trying to get her life back on track, and she had severe trauma as well in her way. So genetics played a huge role in some of the characteristics, you know, and traits that Cyntoia had experienced because of the family dynamics. So that environment really played a huge role in, you know, that incident, you know. So, yeah, it's so good to see the rehabilitation of people that they transformed from before and after. So, yeah, thanks for watching.